During this campaign, every candidate on the stage has declared themselves a fighter. This is a necessary but not a sufficient condition to defeat Trumpism and to prevent a political system built on competitive authoritarianism from becoming our norm. Aside from fighting back against the onslaught of corruption and authoritarian power grabs, we must also have an aspirational vision for the future of democracy. What concrete ideas do you have to strengthen our democracy? And how will you, as a first-time Congress member, work towards implementation of those ideas?
What a wonderful question.
Thank you.
Okay, this is where pillars 2 and 3 of what I'm running on are super important, right? It's important to have a forward-facing vision of what we can be as a country rather than what we are against as a country. Here's what that means to me. The better future that we are going to build is a future where nobody goes bankrupt because they got care at a hospital, where nobody is uncovered by health insurance, where no one is worried about their health care or their costs of doing so. We're going to build a future where everyone can afford to buy a home. We are going to have to pass new civil rights, voting rights, and equal rights amendments through the Congress. The time is now. We are watching what the Republicans are doing, ripping all of these rights away, trying to wind us back to the 19th century. We have to build that better future and hold Trump accountable at the same time. We have to do both because the American people will never, ever believe in us ever again if all we do is go and fight with Trump all the time and have no solutions for the problems that they are actually feeling. And that's such a huge part of why I'm running.
Thank you very much. Mayor Guerrero, what concrete ideas do you have to strengthen our democracy, and how would you, as a first-time Congress member, work towards implementation of those ideas?
Thank you. With my experience of what I've accomplished in the U.S. Conference of Mayors is to organize a bipartisan group of mayors and at the county level to organize county officials to work collaboratively to put more pressure or to remove people from office that are not going to deliver for their constituents. We need to hold congressional members accountable. And through that, we can hold the Supreme Court justices accountable because they are not defining the true values of what they're there for. They are reversing, like the Voting Rights Act, they are reversing policies that have provided our civil rights. And there we need to hold them accountable as well by making sure that we do, like we look at making sure that we have an oversight and authority so that we are not having corrupt judges up there. In addition to that, we need to organize the people, which is what I've done, so that we can ensure that our voice is heard. And through all of those levels of government, we can have a Congress that is delivering for the people.
Thank you very much. District Attorney Ho, what concrete ideas do you have to strengthen our democracy, and how will you, as a first-time Congress member, work towards implementation of those ideas?
So how do we fight against the corruption, the cronyism, and the chaos of Donald Trump? First and foremost, I've tried nearly 100 cases in my career as a prosecutor. If you want to subpoena, investigate, and build a case and hold people accountable, I am your fighter to do so. One of the first things that I would do is investigate Kristi Noem, who gave out a $200 million advertising campaign to a company that was formed 10 days beforehand that was associated with her married boyfriend. Let's talk about corruption and cronyism and going after them, going after ICE and those that are corrupt. But we also then need to build a solid basis to help rebuild our country. And what do I mean by that? I have been endorsed by the carpenters. I've also been endorsed by the plumbers and pipe fitters, the largest building trade in the area. And what we need to do is reinvest in workforce development and get people the job and the economic development in the community to build the community from the ground up and the infrastructure here. And I will fight for working families and those policies that support it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Babb Tomlinson, what concrete ideas do you have to strengthen our democracy, and how would you, as a first-time Congress member, work towards implementation of those ideas?
Thank you for talking about democracy in this moment. I was absolutely heartbroken to see the Supreme Court gut the Voting Rights Act last week. We literally lost the protection that would keep the minority-majority seats in the South, which means approximately 30% of the members of color no longer have seats. So this is a direct attack on our democracy. They know how powerful we are, and I'm a little surprised that no one has mentioned the Voting Rights Act, John H. Lewis Voting Rights Act, as something we need to pass on day one, because if we don't, we have no democracy. And so in this moment, this is my generation's civil rights movement. My ancestors' grandfather died, blood, all to vote. And what are we going to accomplish is actually passing legislation that gives people the right to vote. We need to take away ICE from Donald Trump being at voting stations and intimidating people, because what they want to go back to is poll taxes. What they want to go back to is women not voting. What they want to go back to is white landowners being the only people that make decisions in this country. And we will say hell no to that, and I will be the first vote for the John H. Lewis Voting Rights Act.
Thank you very much. Dr. Pan, what concrete ideas do you have to strengthen our democracy, and how will you as a first-time Congress member work towards implementation of those ideas?
Well, I appreciate the fact that we're here in Placer County, because when you elected me to the state legislature at the time, California was in the news about being ungovernable, right? We had a budget deficit that seemed like we could never get past. We were making severe cuts to services for the most vulnerable. And when I got to the legislature, when I left, we got a $30 billion reserve, right? We fixed that. I delivered on getting people. I got increased funding for childcare and education. I passed new civil rights laws to protect immigrants. The reason we have our ballots now in the mailbox is because of laws that I voted for in the state legislature, to be sure everyone had access, could vote, right? That's what people are going to expect. They want someone who's going to deliver in Congress, right? Not just promise stuff, but actually deliver. And that's what I did for you in the state legislature, and that's what I'm going to do in Congress as well. We need to show that when we control the House, that we're actually going to make things happen, not just promise things, but make things happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much.